Don't sing that shit to me.
Why?
Don't sing a crappy band that'll never be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
More than a feeling.
It doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't they be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? What's keeping Boston out of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
I know. I mean, did you know the people that are in there that aren't as good as Boston?
It's just it's arbitrary, clearly, but just at the number of bands that exist and you having to do this thing every year, and the fact that the people are reaching across genre of music.
Yeah.
Going to Dolly Parton, who's like, no, I don't know. I didn't ever do a rock album. Doesn't matter. We're putting you in. Please don't. Shut up. We're going to do what we want. Mm-hmm. But they won't put Boston in.
Yeah, no one who's looking to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to be like, what's a good band? Let's check the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Here's something. It says that I guess the band beat CBS Records in a breach of contract suit against him. Mm-hmm. All right, so one of the members of the band, Tom Schloss. It's not what it is. It's Scholes, but I liked reversing the L and the O because Schloss sounded funny. I guess they were suing him for a breach of contract, and he won. And that grudge, somehow CBS Records, if they even still exist in any fucking form,
never again,
keeps the band. Yeah, how dare you beat us? We'll show you. All right, well, that makes more sense that it's something petty. If it was based on merit alone, that's a very catchy
but it's not
riff.
Based on merit because it's just whoever pays too, right?
I don't know. I don't know enough about the way it works.
It's a lot like Man of the Year or Person of the Year. It's whoever, it's like their people pay for that opportunity.
Here's what I think about when I hear Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I think about a date I went on that ended with me realizing I had skin flakes all over my shirt.
Oh.
So I don't really like thinking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. If you want,
why did you realize that there? It was just you just happened to be in that place.
No, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame had an annex that popped up in New York.
Okay.
With weird exhibits like the bloody clothes that John Lennon was wearing the day he was shot.
What? That's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
It was in the annex that popped up in New York. Yoko Ono kept those clothes in a bag in her closet.
Sure.
For all those years, and then allowed them to put those on display. I think they're probably back in her closet. We did, because I was working in radio at the time, we did a broadcast from there, and I hit it off with the woman who was running it. She was, I don't know, my age, maybe a year or two older. And, I don't know, this is going back years and years and years and years to when I first moved to New York. But we ended up hanging out, and I thought it went fine. Everything seemed to be good.
Okay.
But I realized later on that, the dry skin on my face or whatever, my beard or whatever was acting up, and it was all over the front of this shirt I was wearing. And that was that. I never reached out again. I was like, that's too embarrassing. The end.
Well, did she ever reach out to you?
I can't remember. I think she sent a text, and it was also, honestly, right before I met Jill, or I had already met Jill, but nothing was going on as far as us dating, and that took off too. So,
okay.
So I made a choice. I was like, well, I don't know. I like Jill.
I like Jill.
I'm gonna pursue this relationship. I can't even pursue the other one if I wanted because the dandruff,
skin flakes,
the face druff. And so every time I hear Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, that's what I think of, a personal shame.
Yeah. Yeah, that would bum me out. to realize like you have something in your teeth the whole time. It's the same thing. Like, oh God.
I just feel like something in the person's teeth, I would tell them. Especially
I would too.
I think it's just a courtesy. If you're eating, obviously it happens to everyone. A booger, I don't know. It becomes a little more difficult to point that out, though I'm sure the person in the end would appreciate it. They'd be horrified in the moment.
Yeah, it depends on how you do it. You know, you're like, oh, you got a little something here, and they're like, oh, well, thank you. That's it. It's not like, hey, you got a bug, you got a bat in the cave.
Hey, your whole face is shed under your shirt.
What is that? Do you have psoriasis?
No, I have seborrheic dermatitis.
Nothing on my skin. That's my new plan.
Let me tell you.
Nothing is everything. Whoa.
Let me tell you about my affliction.
Let me tell you about my skindriff.
Let me fill you in on what it is exactly. It's not psoriasis. It's not eczema.
It's something, adrosis or something.
Strangely, it's not from dry skin. It's from overly oily skin. I know, it seems counterintuitive. Why would it flake if it's oily? But that's just the mechanism behind it.
It's like when you have dry eye, a lot of times it means like your eye is watering a whole lot. It's the same thing.
I should have brought that up on my Undateables, the date I went on for a time out in New York.
Yeah.
Where two people who claim to be undateable get set up on a blind date. And I should have brought up the fact I had a skin condition.
Well, you could have had the skin condition that creates what would seem like a dry situation, but it's actually an overproduction of oil. And then the woman could be someone with a leaky eye that's due to dry eye. And then you guys would be like perfect matches.
Man, that date was 10 years ago. What the fuck? Where'd that time go?
Where did the time go?
I was 32 when I went on that date. It's funny, the passes I'll give people. I remember in the article, and I had it in the back of my mind. It's like, look, this is going to be written up, and we need to have a good conversation. We need to give the reader something good.
Sure.
I'm not saying I was pretending or being anything I wasn't, but that did live in the back of my mind. And something like talking about seborrheic dermatitis maybe would have been a nice added flair for the reader.
Ooh.
That aside,
that
aside, what I'm saying where I give people passes, I walked in and her name was Chelsea, and she had a knit hat on that also said Chelsea, and it wasn't the soccer team. Like it could just be, oh, well, there's the soccer team Chelsea, and my name's Chelsea, and I like wearing this hat. No, it seemed to be made for her, and normally I would judge someone hard if they had a hat with their name on it. But, whatever. She had bangs, and I was like, oh, that's fine.
So you're in.
That's so cute. She took the hat off, and then it's like, oh, there's bangs under there. Okay.
That's hard to wear a hat with bangs. She's very brave.
Yeah, she was a comedian.
Oh, man.
And worked on some MTV shows.
Okay.
Which, whatever. Girl Code, was that a show?
Oh, I loved Girl Code. I loved all those little shows. So like, I love the series, and then the Girl Code. I loved Girl Code.
Well, I'm gonna be working on a TV show.
You are?
Called In with the Old on the Magnolia Network.
What the fuck is Magnolia?
I'd say, come on, it's the network that has Maine Cabin Masters.
Oh, cool.
And In with the Old, which is it's just a home repair show where they find old buildings and fix them up.
Oh, do they turn them into inns?
I don't know what they do with it. I'm just going to be, I've been asked to mix the audio on an episode.
Wow.
So.
Is this outside of your job?
Possibly. Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Maybe side work. That won't be happening during work hours. Don't worry.
Okay. I was worried about that.
Somebody may be worried. What?
I know if you're listening, if someone's listening.
I mean, if somebody's listening to this podcast, they already know that I do this podcast. Not that that's necessarily work, but they also would know about the radio show at that point, and that is work outside of my normal work.
Yeah.
So
during work hours sometimes.
I don't know why all of a sudden In with the Old would be the final straw. It's like, no, you're fired. Can't have you mixing audio for a fix it up show.
So what does it mean to mix the audio? Is the audio on different channels and then you have to sync them together?
Well, especially with shows like that because it's on location.
Yeah.
And then they've got people mic'd when they're walking around. But then
so you have to mute some people to get the right thing to come to the front?
Well, yeah, and then they, probably pull people aside and have conversations with them, and that might be mic'd differently, and there's just different locations, and you just clean everything up. Dialogue editing's the big part of it because the editors probably made a lot of cuts, and if it's clipped in the middle of sentences or the end of sentences, like it can sound bad, and you got to figure out ways to smooth that over. And
do they give you like not the script, but what they want it to, how they want it to go?
Well, I mean, by the time you mix audio, the edit's done, so you're not allowed to change anything in the audio.
Oh, I see.
That's
so cool. I want to do that.
You can't change the timing because then it wouldn't be in sync. So
yeah,
they send it to you and like, yeah, this is it. So it's a what's the word I'm looking for? Not a restriction, but whatever. It's a thing when it comes to audio editing for video. When you're obviously mixing audio only, you can adjust timing. You can make changes as needed to clean things up. If something's not working, you can, do what you need to do to fix it. But with video, it's like, oh, this is a hard edit. It sounds bad, but I can't like move things to smooth it out. So I got to figure out other ways to do it.
That sounds really fun.
Yeah. And then you mix the music, and I doubt their sound effects. I doubt their sound design for this show. So you mix that with the dialogue and you send one mix file.
I feel like I could do that.
Maybe.
How do I get into that?
Can you do it?
Would you give me something to just like, as like a project and see what I did? And you could tell me like, oh, that sucks. That's not good.
You want me to train
you? Oh, it's pretty good, but maybe this or that.
I'll find something.
All right. Fun. It just seems like I could do it, and it'd be a skill that I could have.
But you don't have time because you're doing the hot sauce.
Oh, I am very busy, actually.
See, you got hot sauce. You've got radio Trivia. Show.
Yeah. I like being busy. It's really good. I like it. And I like adding, I'm curious, so I like adding skills. And like, even if I might not use it, it still is like something cool to add to my repertoire. But Hoff and Pepper's been really busy. It was really funny. So there's a issue with the post office locally in Chattanooga. They didn't scan this like huge group of orders that went out on the 6th. So they promise that they're in transit, but there's no way for us or customers to know that. So when they look at their tracking number, it just says that the post office is waiting for their order. And so they're coming to me like, hey, why haven't you guys given the post office my order? Why has it been like a week or 2 weeks, And it's like, I have to explain to them what had happened. And people like this one guy called me a liar. He was like, this blah, blah, blah. This doesn't happen. Don't lie.
Well, it is a strange thing.
Yeah.
Why was a tracking number generated?
Because when you print the label, like at the facility where we make it, they print the label and that creates the tracking number. And then UPS picks it up and then they take it to their little post office and then they scan it and then it goes on its way so that it's tracked as being arrived at the post office and then on its way. But they didn't scan this like entire, 2 pallets of orders. So now there's like all these people like, where the fuck is my order? Which I understand. And it's already moving kind of slowly anyway, just because of like holiday congestion. So
we're busy. We're slowing down.
We're not, the post office is that, not us.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm just mocking them, even though I know there's, exponentially more packages that they're shipping this time of year.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of the excuse. It's going to take longer than normal.
But it's just funny. Like people get, someone messaged me saying all this stuff like, the post office doesn't work that way. If it's not scanned, then it's not on its way. A post office isn't going to send something that is like.
Well, they're supposed to scan it at different stops. So that even if they miss the scan, like the departure scan from the post office, it's still strange that it hasn't updated in any sort of way.
I know. And it really, because I got that answer, right? That it just hadn't been scanned. So I was like, okay, I'll tell them that. But then I was like, I don't like that. that's I don't want to just take it as someone's word, So I called the post office and talked to them about it and started a claim, and then I got a response from the post office saying this stuff is moving through. So this one person that called me a liar, he was like, "What evidence do you have to prove that you've even?" And I was like, "Okay, I have evidence. Here's a picture of the email." I did like a screenshot. I didn't forward in my email, but like I took a screenshot of the response that I got from the post office.
Did he apologize at that point?
No, not yet.
He probably won't. That's the thing. People want to make the claim that you're lying, which I get. If something was supposed to have shipped and it was showing that it hadn't, and then somebody's like,
it's moving through. Don't worry.
People make excuses. I don't know if I'd go as far as claiming the person's a liar in an email. I'd think it. But, some people get the urge like, oh, you think you're going to pull a fast one on me? Well, I'm going to call you out proactively because you think I'm some kind of fucking idiot.
Right.
Like it spirals and it becomes an attack on their manhood.
Who knows? But yeah, so I responded with like, I'm not lying. And then I gave all this evidence, like I was nice about it, but it really was like, here you go. This is what I got for you, jerk face.
I feel like a person who reacts that way is probably not going to respond and apologize.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be like, oh, you know what? I apologize.
No, they're going to say that's easy to forge. Maybe that's from a different claim and you did some photoshopping.
Right.
It's always going to be something. But yeah, I would be annoyed too.
Oh, I get it. And I tell them that like, dude, that sucks. I don't say that, but I give them I don't give them the rote response of, we apologize for the inconvenience of your package being suspended. I'm like, I'm way more conversational so that they know I'm a real person and hopefully get a vibe that, I do care.
The generation of the tracking number before it's actually been dropped off of the post office stinks. I hate that. Because I'll get an alert and it'll say your package is on its way. And then you look and it said number generated, post office awaiting drop off. Mm-hmm. Like, well, that could go on for fucking days.
Well, and that's where people are, right? So, and oh my gosh. And the other thing that is a problem with that same order that went out on the 6th is that one of the sauces we ran out of. So people that purchased any orders with that sauce had to wait I don't know, like 5 days before we were able to start like bottling and then putting those bottles in the orders. So yeah, not only was it a normal amount of orders that went out on the 6th, it also included that backlog of people that ordered the sauce that we were out of that had to wait like a week. So people ordered at the end of November, and then here it is, the 13th, and they're like, where the fuck is this sauce? I'm like, dude, I know. Sorry. Why haven't you given it to the post office yet? It's like, it's there. It's supposed to be moving through the network. I don't fucking know.
They better.
But it's hard. You're right, because it's like, yeah, it does seem like they can't really believe me, right? Because all the evidence shows that it is not there. So I can't really. All they can do is take my word. Well,
you better hope it shows up soon. And then you better hope it's the best fucking hot sauce they've ever tasted in their lives.
Yeah.
Beard hair and all. Every batch gets Hoff's personal beard hair mixed in.
Oh, that's what gives it its spice.
It's like a watermark. It's how you know that it's authentic.
Yeah, like the worm in the tequila.
Each bottle has one beard hair. This is not true.
It's not beard hair. Don't lie to me.
This is not true. I don't think people who work for the company would appreciate this. It's not humorous. That's a real safety violation.
Yeah. Well, that makes me think of Eric and how like paranoid he gets about when anybody says anything. Oh, he doesn't put his beard hair. You're gonna ruin people's lives.
But then he'll go on and I guess he never said the airline's name, even though we all know it's Frontier or Spirit.
Yeah, I assumed it at first it was Spirit, but then I don't think Spirit has those hard seats.
Nah, Spirit does.
Oh, they do? God, I would never fly Spirit, dude.
Yeah, for people who don't know, it's just Eric talking about flying a value airline to Buffalo because his son was too cheap to book Delta or even fucking Southwest.
But why was it his son's job to book any of the flights?
It was a gift.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, it was like a birthday present.
Oh, that's not a gift.
It's like, Pops, we're going to see this game. And I bought the ticket and the airfare and the hotel.
Right.
That's a gift.
No, that's a gift. But the flight being...
It's like bonding. It's more than a game. It's a bonding trip.
No, I understand the idea of the trip. That's really nice. But
it's trauma bonding when you fly on.
Okay, well, then there's that. Sure.
Fucking Spirit. Spirit would be a nicer ride if they actually shipped real garbage. They just took steaming, stinking bags of trash and strapped it into the seats, and you flew amongst that. That would be more pleasant than the actual people.
On its way.
Yeah.
It's like we're shipping this too. Hey, the cargo is chock full of other packages and things that need to go a lot as well as all of your luggage. So each person has to like hold a box in their seats. So we can fly more things across wherever.
I mean, if there was an airline that had nice seats and that's how they offset some of the cost, like you had more room, but you had to carry a box on your lap, I would do that. Depends on the size of the box, I guess, but I'd be inclined to do that, but not if you're going to shove me into one of these small planes with the hard seats and zero leg room.
Yeah, here's a teensy seat, and now you have to hold this box in your lap.
Yeah. If it's a big seat, it's like, hey, you're getting more space, and the reason it's affordable is because you're going to ship with this cooler of freeze-dried meat. These steaks need to get across the country.
Yeah.
They're packed with dry ice. Don't worry when you see that leaking out the top. Make sure you put a blanket over your legs, else they'll freeze.
Oh, yeah. And that's just juice coming out. It's not like blood. Don't worry.
Welcome to One Topic. Where we stick to one topic. But we don't.
What would our topic be today? Travel?
No.
Infrastructure?
Just introduce yourself.
My name is Autumn Fisher.
My name is Greg Russ. We can tie it together. I was thinking, like, you're doing all this work from home and I work from home.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking a lot about how the days just fucking blend together and if that contributes to this feeling of time passing faster. I know that it happens in general, but I really do have this idea that I spend most of my time where I'm recording right now, which is not even where I do the radio show. I do the radio show upstairs at the desk, but I'm recording this show downstairs in the bedroom where I work during the day. And then, I sleep in the bedroom
so it's all like sort of merged together.
In small spaces in general. It's like, your apartment's not huge. This apartment's not huge. Apartments in general aren't giant. There are different rooms, so you can switch it up a bit. Well, I guess if you think about some studio apartments in New York, like when I lived on Sullivan Street, I spent a lot of time in that fucking place when I was freelancing, aka mostly unemployed, doing side jobs, putting on SVU. Like still to this day, when I hear the theme song from Law and Order SVU, I think of that time of my life. I'm like sitting there. It's like, I'm about to turn 30. What the fuck am I doing? Oh, well, just watch another episode of SVU and waste
SVU
time.
will help me.
I don't know. That aside, even though I'm in the bedroom a lot, I think just going around the apartment and being in the apartment every day, does it contribute? Does it? What does it feel like for you? Does time go by fast?
I feel like because I've been busy, it's funny. I don't think about it as time going fast. I think about it as, it's a different way of saying time goes fast. I guess it's the same thing. The way I think about it is that I run out of time.
You don't have enough.
Yeah. And it doesn't feel like I've been doing something for so long and I'm just like waiting. It's almost like when this makes sense. When I didn't have as much to do, I was finding a lot to do. I was running errands and like cleaning up or, doing like house stuff or laundry or whatever. But now when I'm sitting down and I know I only have until like when I have the kids, I only have until like 2:15 to get everything done. Or if they're not here, still like around 2, right? I got to start getting ready for the show. So, but But yeah, I feel like now I'm running out of time to get all the things done that I want to get done.
I don't know. The year seems to be, it flew by. I feel like I say this every year, probably.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you go back, every end of the year show that we do, I probably say the same thing. But it does seem to be picking up. And I know, and there's the ideas and the theories as to why. And I like that when I listen to the Doctrine, Eric takes what I say verbatim and presents it as his own. And it's not that it's some revolutionary idea, but I think, the first amongst us to say, as you get older, a year represents less of your life. And when you're 7, like he uses the same age. I heard him say it the other day. I was like, I say really? 7. It's like, when you're 7, 1 year is 1/7 of your life. And that's a lot. And when you're 40, It's 1/40th. When you're 60, it's 1/60th. So the unit of time in itself just doesn't feel as long because there have been so many others. Again,
I didn't know that came from you.
Yeah, that came from me.
Yeah.
It came from me.
Eric loves you.
It came from me, and then probably because I rejected him.
Yeah.
That's what, you can tie it to his dad. I'm sure you love that.
Oh, that sounds accurate.
He refused to move back to Atlanta and be a part of the show on a full-time basis.
Yeah.
And if he had, that would have been...
then he would have... Yeah, it's almost like... Yeah, he would have... Yeah, because that's interesting because he does kind of judge us. Right? Like, you would be nothing without me. Right? Where it's like Greg left and became something without him. So
he'll still judge what I do. He's like, oh, now you're a corporate shill working in management.
Yeah.
With your meetings. Working for that company. He'll still judge it a bit, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
But if I had taken that producing gig 10 years ago, I'd be in the same exact spot as I was when I started. Part-time, maybe just
awful.
Just full-time, same salary probably.
Yeah.
$50,000 a year.
Bored too, probably bored.
I mean, it wouldn't be a bad job, having a full-time gig in radio, but doing the show would be fine. I don't know. I know that it's because it's the same. There's this idea. It's like, oh, no change. You'd probably get bored with it on some levels, yes. But I think the fact that the work itself is interesting when you're on the air, that could help offset some of that. But
I mean, yeah, it's interesting while you're on the air, but all the little things that you'd have to do outside, I feel like there's not enough as a producer to do on the outside. I don't know everything that Jared does, I guess.
I'd be booking guests left and right. Just kidding.
Nobody wants guests on our show.
I think every once in a while, there's somebody Eric would like as a guest.
I think that you would be a better, actual producer.
Yeah, but I also wouldn't want to produce.
Right.
It's the one medium, and I've brought this up before, radio, where the producer has no power. Film, TV, when you're the producer, like you're the fucking boss. You're calling shots and people have to listen to you. In radio, it's like, no, you're below us.
Yeah.
You don't get to say anything. Like, we tell you we want you to say things and keep us on track and tell us at this point this is happening and at that time that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But really, if you tried to do that, I'd tell you to shut up.
Well, it's both, right? Like, you have to be the person that does hold the reins, but you also have to know when to let go of the reins, right? To let the host do whatever they want to do, but you're there when you need to be.
Can't believe it's been 10 years though since that show started. I'm listening to you. I know that seemed like I just
keep going back to just like whatever your thought was.
Well, I mean, it just ties into it. I mean, the fact that
it does.
That conversation about producing the show happened 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Setting up in the basement happened 10 years ago. Fucking insane. The fact that I was kicked off payroll and had to not get paid for 90 days was already 2 years ago, which means it's probably coming up again that I'm going to have to get kicked off of payroll and not get paid and then have to go through the drug testing and all that again just to get back on payroll.
You have to do all that still again?
Yeah, because it's a third party payroll company.
Right.
it's one of the mechanisms to ensure there's no abuse. It's like, yeah, companies don't give a shit. Like, they're not going to convert you to staff because you say you can't work more than 3 years in this capacity, because that would be a company abusing this, not wanting to bring a person on the staff and keeping them part of the third party payroll company instead. It's like, the idea in theory is nice, but in practice, it's never going to fucking happen. So being a person who this is side work, not my full-time job, I don't really care. It's like, yeah, take advantage of me. Don't make me staff. I don't care. Just keep paying me. But every 3 years, you have to take a 90-day break. And when that break is over, it's like a rehiring process. And even the payroll company has no clue. They think that you're being hired for the first time. They don't realize that you've just taken, like, congratulations. Now here's a welcome packet with all the stuff. And then we need you to go take a drug test, which is fine, but it's annoying. Sure. It's like, really? Even if I were being hired for the first time, you're still fucking drug testing?
Yeah. Does the drug test cost something for the company? Like,
it does cost the company. They don't charge me.
Oh, right. But I guess it's not as much as they would have had to pay you for those 90 days. But
oh yeah, for sure, there's a cost that's being billed back to them, but it's such a ridiculous thing. And my fear always is, once it's up, they're like, why are we going to renew him? Let's not pay him anything. He'll continue to do the show without any extra money.
Would you?
Probably.
You shouldn't.
Well, it's not like holding out is going to get them to change their minds, and you just give something up that's been part of your life.
I'd be like, on principle, I will not continue.
Yes, I agree with you for the most part.
But I say that, and I'm getting paid less, and I'm not doing shit. But I also need the job.
Yeah, you're in a spot where you need it.
Yeah.
I like the extra income. Do I necessarily need it? No.
Yeah.
So if it went away and it's still something I like doing, I guess I would do it. I know it goes against everything I really would stand. It's like, fuck you. You don't want to pay me? Then you're not getting anything out of me. But there's already, they already don't care. There's already zero value that I bring in their eyes.
Right. So you're like not losing any respect either way from them.
Yeah, I'm not trying to prove anything to them.
Yeah.
So while it would be shitty, it's not like I can hurt them in any way. And I feel as though just not doing the show would only hurt me. It's like, so now you don't pay me, and I'm going to hurt myself by not doing this thing that I like doing.
Yeah. Ugh, whatever.
On paper, it's the wrong approach. It's the wrong fucking approach, and I wouldn't do it that way. But that's why I got to do my mix on old is new.
Yeah, there you go.
Old is new, or what did I say it's called?
Yeah, what's it called?
In with the old.
In with the new. Old in.
I'm going to be a TV mixer. Join another dying industry.
That's not dying. They need people to mix stuff like that still. They can't do that with AI.
Nah, AI is getting close. We have these people that reach out constantly. Unsolicited, send emails. I never write back to them. It's like, hey, can we give you a demo of our new software? And there's, money people at the company are always like, yeah, let's see what you've got. If we can cut out labor and save money, that'd be amazing. So I started joining these calls because I didn't want decisions just to be in money people's hands.
Sure.
And I don't know, it's not there yet, but it's close. You could give it the mix, like what I have to do, the project file, and it can clean all that shit up kind of on its own.
So maybe it would make it so it would take a human less time because AI would take care of certain things, and then you could, like, the loose ends.
Well, that's the way to approach it. You can't, like, there's going to be people who resist AI. There were people who resisted digital audio.
Yeah.
I enjoy my reel-to-reel machine, and I'm not going to fucking learn digital audio editing, and then they're left behind.
Yeah.
You can dig in all you want, but things are going to change. So it's figuring out AI's here, accept it, and figuring out what you can use that helps you. their whole thing is pushing for a completely automated process. I don't know if it can ever fully get there. I still think you're going to have a person who at least reviews it and can adjust it. But yeah, using certain processes, AI processes to make your job easier. Fuck yeah, why not? You should do that.
I used it. I used it for my resume. I fed it my resume, and then it gave me. It was really, really cool. Actually, it gave me like what it sees, what it's missing, and then how to correct it, like in a table. Like a graph table thing, and then you can like tell it to review your resume as different things. Like, hey, if I'm applying for this job, how does my resume look for that? It's really neat.
For the resume, I think, yeah, it would do a really good job. When I have it write mundane things like people's performance reviews.
Oh, yeah.
I end up rewriting it. Not that a performance review even matters. Nobody's fucking reading it unless like HR comes in and says there's a problem with the person and gets a report, then wants to look at their reviews.
Sure.
But for the most part, nobody's reading it. But I don't like it because it's not my voice. I'm like, this is not the way I would write this. So
do you ever tell it to do it again, but make it more like this? You can tell it to.
Yeah, I'm sure you could feed it your writing and train it on some level.
Yeah.
With a paid subscription.
I've said like, make this, 4 sentences or less and make it more casual.
I still feel like writing, for me, even with things that don't matter, like performance reviews, like having my voice present in my writing, I find it to be important. So
no, I agree. Like, I'm not using AI to answer any of these emails because, like I said, I'm trying to give them like a personal touch.
Yeah. Because you could easily use AI.
Yeah.
To craft some generic responses.
But that's the thing. Like, when you contact customer support, you want, at least to me, I want to feel like I'm actually talking to somebody.
Everyone does. That's why even before AI, the AI chatbots, when you had automated phone service.
Yeah.
And people start slamming the 0 button and yelling operator because it had voice prompts like operator, pressing 0 over and over and over. Because nobody wants to talk to that fucking thing.
Hello. Thank you for calling CVS. Your neighborhood pharmacy.
Yeah, same thing with these AI chatbots. Like, God damn.
To speak to a cashier, press 1. Pharmacy, press 2. Doc in the box, press 3.
There's AI now that you can feed it like an hour of video footage and it will pull clips that it thinks are good for social. It's like, hey, here's cool. I guess it's creepy. It's like, hey, here's 15 seconds that would be really good if you want to push this out and promote this thing. It's like, all right, so you're just watching and listening and deciding. If I were a real influencer, I don't think I would trust my content with AI, but.
Well, that's the thing. You still add your personal opinion and things. You don't just feed it and then do whatever it says.
Well, if we were to promote this show, which we never fucking did, but if we were to promote this show by taking audio clips and putting them under the logo and posting that, we could send this whole episode when it was done to this software and it would just pull out some clips. Like, use
what
this
is the
to
software?
Promote. What is the software?
Let's try it and see what it does.
I think it's called Opus Clip.
Opus Clip.
Mr. Holland's Opus Clip.
I loved that movie. I bet, though, if I watch it again, I think it was really cheesy and awful.
Nah, you'd probably still cry.
Really?
I don't know. I can't. I've seen it, but I get it confused with Dead Poet Society.
Oh, I've never seen Dead Poet Society.
I think I combined the two movies in my head.
Yeah. What's it called? Opus what?
Opus Clip.
Clip. Pricing. God damn.
I got a free login, I guess you could say. So I could feed it this when it's all said and done and see what it pulls. It says.
Yeah.
You probably. I don't know if you can prompt it. I haven't played around with it yet. I don't know if you can prompt it. Like, I'm looking for a clip like this. I'm looking for a clip where I shit on AI. It's here to stay. All the money people want to take your job. We don't want to pay people. We need to make more money. We can't let our show go that direction again. Even though it's what drives the great country of the United States, consumerism and capitalism. It's a business based on individualism, getting yours. Community? Community costs too much, both in time and money. Looking out for each other? Pussy. You can't get rich if you're looking out for other people.
Oh, yeah. No, none of that.
You can pretend you're looking out for other people and use that to get rich, but you can't do both.
And as long as you kill people with, like, just not directly. If you kill people with PDF files, that's fine.
Oh, speaking of PDF files, I was thinking about this when you were bringing up the resume. Years ago, I made like this really nice resume. Like there was some graphic design I put into it, and I made it a PDF. And I didn't realize that most of those online portals where you apply for jobs just want Word documents because they just pull keywords from the resume, and using a PDF, at least at the time, I think it's become more advanced and it can read PDFs now. Like it just couldn't get information from your resume automatically. And a hiring manager probably wasn't going through every single resume they got, looking at it. They were just looking at what the system told them. It's like, these are the good ones. I pulled keywords from the resume. So I was like just lost in the system. Never getting callbacks. Even if you have, a Word doc resume, you're probably not going to get a callback when you
cold
apply.
I apply with PDFs because I think that not everybody has Word.
Yeah, but again, it's going into this portal and it's all being converted.
Yeah.
So they're not opening the file directly. Like they can just see it when it's presented to them. Right. I don't know. These days PDFs are probably fine. The fact that you could upload a PDF, it's like the system was willing to take it, but
right. Yeah.
But I looked into it further and it's like, it has trouble.
Okay.
Pulling keywords.
So how'd you find this out?
I just did a search once.
Oh.
Like it can rip PDFs, but it also doesn't get it right necessarily. So
when was this that you found this out?
I don't know. This was like 2014.
So, okay.
So like I'm saying 10 years ago. So.
Yeah.
So maybe it's gotten better at reading PDFs, but I put in effort. Like I designed this thing and it looked cool. I had some flourishes on it.
What does that mean, flourishes?
I don't know. I just use color and I don't know how to explain it. I'm not a designer.
You were proud of it. You liked it. You felt like it was maybe eye-catching in some way.
I don't know if I still have a copy of it, probably somewhere. But yes, it looked like, this person put it in work instead of a fucking Word doc with just stupid Times New Roman.
Yeah.
I didn't use a goofy font. I used a very professional font. But
that would be funny to use like a real silly font.
I don't like serifed font anyway. Sans.
You don't like serif? Why?
I like sans.
Serif is good because it helps the eye move across the page.
I don't like it. I don't like all the little lines and flags and tails.
Yeah, I like the little flags and tails.
I don't write that way. I write in block lettering.
That's why you have AI write your performance reviews.
No, we were taught when we were, I think you were probably taught the same way, like writing T's and I's, we were supposed to give them little tails.
Yeah.
I stopped doing that like pretty soon. I was like, why? I can just draw two lines across each other. They intersect. And there's my T.
Oh, yeah. I think the only time I use little tails and things is if I'm trying to make something look fancy or I'm writing in cursive or doing just like my mix of cursive and script or not cursive.
Well, in print.
Yeah, print.
In print, we were taught to do the tails. And maybe it was prepping us for cursive. That could have been the thing. It's because cursive was taught after that. It's like, all right, let's get your tails in place that way.
Get your tails in place.
You have your foundation. But I didn't like doing it.
You've always been Sans.
Yes. I will always go for a sans font.
Sans font.
Serif times Arial.
Oh, Curry or New.
Yeah, there's too many. For a while, I was big into finding font packages and loading those up.
Man, that is real nerdy.
And it's like, I like this font.
I like that. Do you think you're like hyper fixated?
It's handwritten.
Oh, I do like those. I like the way those look sometimes. You know when they don't work is if you want to do all caps and it's like a scripty font, because then it looks like a mess.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of times it doesn't work. Some of those font packages don't have the full range of, like you said, sometimes they don't even have capital and lowercase. Other times the symbols, like, oh, we didn't take the time to build that part out. So you can't do a $ and you can't do an @ sign.
Right.
And you can't do a hashtag, a £.
Was it ever called a hashtag before? I only knew it as the £.
It was always the £. Then it became the hashtag when the world changed around us.
But why? Why didn't it just stay the £? It's what we all know it as.
Go listen to Drunken History. Oh, I don't Drunken History will tell you what became £, the hashtag.
Hi, I'm Adam Sandler, and I'm here to tell you the story about the £.
Was Adam Sandler on Drunken History?
No.
I never watched Drunken History. People are like, oh, it's so great. I was like, I'm not watching it.
It can be good.
You didn't sell me on it.
It's also called Drunk History and not Drunken History.
Well, good. I'm glad that I got it wrong. Proves that I never actually watched it.
Or maybe you do watch it and you knew to mispronounce it.
Possibly.
To lead people off the trail.
You'll never know.
Because you're Sans.
Just like I watch Moana. I mean, don't watch
first one?
Just don't watch Moana. That was a thing the other day on the show when I said Moana and somebody called and said,
oh, yeah.
Moana.
Did you watch the second one?
No, I haven't seen any of them.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen WALL-E. I haven't seen The Incredibles.
Oh, WALL-E's really nice.
I didn't watch that robot movie that just came out. The robot who's a mother to a duck.
Oh, I haven't watched that either.
What's that one called?
I don't know.
The robot with feelings.
Yeah, iRobot, iDuck.
Robot duck movie.
Yeah.
The Wild Robot. I am a robot. Discarded into the forest.
I am in love with a duck.
I learned to love. Now my kind are coming back and want to take that away. I'm sure it's tear jerking.
Have you seen any, okay, what's the last movie you saw?
Gladiator 2.
Oh, how was it?
It's fine. It's fine.
I didn't like the first Gladiator.
How could you not like it? That's the movie that makes grown men cry.
God.
It makes them the sacrifice he was willing to make.
Oh, I was so bored. I was like, I have no reason to care about his wife that he goes home to because I barely know him and I barely know them. So
you know him.
I didn't know him at that point.
You just don't know the wife.
But I didn't feel like I knew him enough to care.
You got to know a lot about him.
By then, I thought that was early on in the movie.
The first 5 minutes of the movie, you get to know what kind of person he is. The fucking Emperor of Rome wants to give him the power that tells you everything you need. It's like, whatever. Man, this guy trusts this guy who's not his son over his son. That's saying something.
Well, and then he goes off and he's chopping people's heads off. I just felt like, are they just coming up with creative ways to decapitate people? And they were like, let's make a movie about that.
You totally missed the point. Well, then you're not going to like Gladiator 2. There was no,
I'm not gonna
unless you're a Paul Mescal fan, which everyone is.
Who?
The guy who plays the Gladiator in Gladiator 2.
Paul Mescal?
Yeah.
Are you saying Pedro Pascal?
No.
Okay, I didn't know if you were messing up his name on purpose.
Fair.
Yeah.
I can see how it can be confusing. No. Pedro Pascal is in the movie.
Is he really?
But Paul Mescal.
Oh, now I'm interested.
Is the gladiator. And
okay.
Yeah, the review was somebody we know who I won't name. It's like, oh, I thought it was okay, but Paul was pretty boring and underwhelming. It's like, look, in the movie, everyone else is fucking eccentric. Like they're all over the fucking top. So to have someone who's actually not, I think was the right move. Not
Wait,
to
who
add
said this?
Somebody we know.
Who
works on the show.
Tim?
No.
Jared?
Maybe.
Oh, okay. Well, God bless Jared. I just don't trust his opinions about things.
I'll tell you, Connie Nelson, the one who plays the mom in the first Gladiator, who's in this one again, because it's been 20-something years since that movie came out.
Okay.
She looks good. She's like a person who didn't have a bunch of plastic surgery.
Well, that's nice.
She looks pretty much the same, so it's nice, but she's aged.
Good for her.
It's nice to see that for once.
Other people are aging in Hollywood. It's just the people that they've kind of faded, or they're just not, working as much or whatever. It's the people that have all that work done that you see that are out there, and then are also like stories because they look so different or they look so weird or whatever. There are plenty of Hollywood people that are not getting stuff done.
It would have been interesting if she had a lot of work done, and this being a period piece. So she came back.
Yeah.
The bunch of plastic
That's what I always
surgery.
said about Walking Dead. Like, man, their Botox is really lasting on The Walking Dead.
And the Botox lasts just like the gasoline in the cars.
Yeah. Oh my God, the gas. That's right.
Siphon it off. We got all the gasoline we need because all.
We found a car. Cars. It's been like, how many years has the zombie apocalypse been happening? They come across a car. It still works. Nope.
Yeah, just get the gas out of it. It's still good.
Get the fuck out.
What a goofy show. It's worse than the Christmas movies I watch around this time on the Hallmark Channel.
My goodness, I'm sorry. Before you go there, did you hear Jared's review of Home Alone?
Oh, yeah.
I was upset. I kept my mouth shut. But.
Yeah, bringing up things that didn't happen on this show. For anyone who didn't hear, what day was this? I feel like people listening who didn't hear Jared's review of Home Alone aren't going to care or understand.
Was it Thursday?
We can't even guide you to the proper point in time to listen to Jared's review of Home Alone, but it was something along the lines of it was full of plot holes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Yes. All movies. Here's what I was thinking when I heard it. When he said that. It's like, all fucking movies are filled with plot holes. If people just spoke the way they should speak, most movies wouldn't happen. Most movies are driven by, these people need to have a conversation, but they're not. So they're making all these fucking assumptions, and now all these weird fucking things are happening. Movies are filled with plot holes constantly.
Yeah, it's called suspension of disbelief.
And especially with a comedy, which is what Home Alone is at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
They're filled with those misunderstandings and plot holes because it adds to it. It's like, my God, none of this needs to be happening. This could all be avoided.
Yeah.
It just keeps getting worse because these people are idiots.
Yeah, like the police officers being so casual with her and her son being missing. They're like, tell her to count her kids again.
Yeah, it was a weird take for that movie.
Yes, I agree. Honestly, it just like how we've said before, where sometimes it feels like Jared's like an algorithm or something, or like AI.
Maybe he is AI.
Yeah, where it's like, it's Christmas time. I'm going to come up with a controversial opinion about Home Alone.
Here's my hot take.
Yeah, full of plot holes. At the church, he could have just told that guy that his parents were not home and he was scared. But instead, he went home and had mac and cheese.
But they didn't even eat it.
Didn't even get to eat it. That poor kid's hungry.
He wasted it.
Yep.
But I'm sure they're back in that dining room at some point. And the mac and cheese isn't sitting there. Like, good continuity.
Oh, good point. With the candles. Like,
yeah, good continuity would have had the macaroni and cheese still sitting there. Maybe Marv was walking through the room and saw it and took a bite. But they didn't.
Nope. But they didn't. Big plot hole. Where'd the mac and cheese go?
Well, that's just offensive. That's promoting wasting food, and that's a real issue.
Is.
Do you hear that PETA's moved on? Like, especially with movies. And I'm not saying animals should have been abused in movies, but now that they've, cleaned up movies to the point where animals aren't being whipped.
There's like animal handlers and...
The new thing is the way animals are represented in movies. And PETA's angry that rats are presented as these terrible creatures that, bring disease and death.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's where we are. You're going to start fighting that. The rats are now misrepresented. They aren't actually misrepresented. There's a reason.
Yeah.
They do carry disease. Is it more than other animals? I can't say. Some animals, raccoons carry disease. But
those animals also don't live in the cities and get into your house.
With the fucking plague was spread by rats.
Right.
There's a reason we still fucking hate them, because they spread a disease that killed a lot of fucking people.
Mosquitoes are not inherently evil, but they might carry a disease that could kill you. And they're a nuisance. I don't like the way that mosquitoes are being represented. They're just killed willy-nilly in movies.
Their feelings. What about the mosquitoes' feelings?
Yeah. Man, that's a good example of like what's happening kind of everywhere, where, PETA seems like it hasn't been so principled necessarily for a long time, but at least you could pretend it was under the guise of, keeping animals safe and not being exploited.
Because people make money off of it at some point.
Right, but now it's like, oh, since that's been solved, we got to stay in business.
Yeah, so it's like we have no reason to exist anymore because we achieved what we set out to do. But I get paid to do this. I'm not going to give up
I have a whole
job.
business to run.
We got to move. The plague wasn't actually spread by rats. It was the fleas on the rats, and I have a study to show it. Okay.
And rats are actually very intelligent.
There is an idea it was the fleas. But
it was the fleas.
But whatever. They were on the rats.
Yeah.
And the rats live in close proximity to people. That was a gross world anyway, the time people dumping their shit into the sidewalk.
Well, that's what like a thing too. I think like Jewish people didn't tend to get the plague or something, and that was because of a cleanliness thing that they had, or
here you
something.
go.
Huh?
Here you go, drawing painting with broad strokes.
No, it's not broad. It's true. And then people were mad at the like, how come you're not getting sick? And then they thought, it's like another sort of persecution of the Jews.
I would have really sold that. It's like, because we're God's chosen people.
Right. Maybe that's what they felt like at the time. They didn't know either. They were like, oh, it's because we're washing our hands, idiots. They didn't know. They were like, I don't know.
Yeah. We didn't get killed and we didn't die. That volcano erupted on your town because God chose us. Mm-hmm. Just like God chose the Dodgers to win the World Series this year. I just want to thank God, Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, for allowing me to win this World Series. Mm-hmm. He's sitting up there with his fucking Dodgers hat on, I'm sure.
God did it. He or she or it was, with that Dodgers hat, just loving that game.
Biggest Ohtani fan. Jesus looks past the way the Dodgers are doing business, deferring contracts into the future, allowing them to spend shitloads of money on players but not pay it out in the moment and grow a team to win championship, buying a team to win championships. He says that's okay because he just really loves the weather in LA and says it's about time that LA wins a World Series and not that fake 2020 shortened COVID season World Series.
Yeah. Also, who cares about dying children? The Dodgers, though.
No, look, the game's on.
Yeah. Don't bother me, kid, with your cancer.
Yeah.
Trying to watch the game.
All those poor people in Africa who are starving to death that are Christians because, people went in from Europe and forced the religion on them.
And they said, you're doing the wrong religion, stupids.
They adopted it. They bought in. They bought in hard, and still you starve them.
Yep. Because God cares about American sports and people going through slight hardships that are very normal in people's lives.
What if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us, jerking it into a sock.
Blasphemy. Say your rosary. Oh my God.
Well, that's the answer. If God was one of us.
Yeah. If God had a dick, what would it look like and would you want to see?
I mean, what would his penis be like? Is it the old standards of penis and the statues of the ancient Romans and Greeks where the smaller penis was the way to go? Or would it be today's standards? Like, I want the biggest fucking baby fist there is. God's penis is the biggest around. What?
Well, I think it would probably be normal, just average, uncirced. Just hanging.
Well, what about Jesus? He was Jewish.
Oh, yeah. No, was he?
Yeah.
No, I know he was Jewish, but did they do that then, though?
I don't know, but maybe it wouldn't be uncircumcised.
I don't know when circumcision or bris or whatever became a thing.
I think people would be very disappointed if God unrobed.
And I got a bigger dick than God.
The largest dong you've ever seen flopped out, unfurled to the floor.
Well, maybe it would be good, right? Because it would not only would men with that size penis, they would look at it and say oh, cool, like me and God are very similar. So that's cool. Or if you were bigger, you'd be like, oh, hell yeah, I got a bigger dick than God. Right? So it's a win-win.
Yeah, I guess so. And
then women are like, hey, it's all about how you use it. So everybody's a winner.
It's supposed to be modesty, right?
Yeah. He has a modest wiener.
Does he need one? He doesn't even need one.
I don't know. I don't think so. A celestial, deity. I don't think that they have penises.
Didn't he just snap his fingers and then Mary was pregnant?
The Holy Spirit came upon her.
Let's not go too deep into this.
Just because some watery tart threw a sword at you?
Let's not go too deep into this.
I know, bless it. Listen, whatever floats your boat.
We're at 1 hour.
Is working for you. I got to go play VR with Ellie.
We gave the people what they wanted. Late
God
this week.
had a dick. I like that song.
Ask AI to write it.
Yeah. I don't have that thing. I got to send it to Tim.
You got to buy the monthly package or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah. I do I thought that buying, a Chat GPT Plus was going to be was something stupid until I started using it more. And I was like, and it gives you a limit on how many times you can do something with it. It's like, oh, you have to do it tomorrow at 4 p.m. I was like, oh, maybe I will buy it.
Now you need one of those extensive packages, those subscriptions where it'll write music for you. It will nudify people.
It will what people?
Nudify.
It will?
You upload a picture of a person and it creates what they look like naked.
That is rude.
I actually don't know if any of the mainstream ones, but there are Telegram apps that do that.
That's funny.
You just upload a picture of a person. I actually, when I was in studio last, we were talking about it, and I found one and uploaded a picture of Jared. But it only, here's the thing, it doesn't make naked men. So it gave him boobs.
No, that is, wow, what a man that wrote that.
It gave him
program or whatever.
It gave him boobs, and I didn't tell him I was doing this, and we showed it to him, and he got really weird, so I deleted it right away.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, why did he get so weird?
I don't know. He didn't like it. I guess he was worried that it would get sent around or something, so I just deleted it.
What did he say?
He didn't say anything, but you could tell by his reaction. He didn't laugh. He just did not like the fact that I nudified him, and also in a corporate environment, it's probably not the best thing to be doing. But
sure.
Eric told me to do it. Eric wanted it. What am I supposed to say? No.
If Tim and you wanted to do it, Eric would not want you to do it. Oh, come on, we're in an office. We're going to get found. People.
I was worried after. I was like, all right, well, that's going to be the end of me. You really shouldn't be doing shit like that at work. But
no, it's hard. It's a hard balance, though, because being in radio is a sort of, at least our show, too. It's like a little bit more of a casual.
It's like we're a group of friends and we can get away with stuff like this. But
yeah.
But that's why I just deleted it. It was just fucking ridiculous anyway. It was a picture of him in studio standing in front of a mic. So then he's holding the mic and pointing and then he's naked with these boobs flopping around.
Well, I feel bad for Jared for being uncomfortable.
I felt bad too.
Yeah.
That's why I deleted it. I didn't
that's good.
I didn't need to keep it and show it to people.
What a pussy.
All right.
How dare he have feelings about things? Stupid. Gay.
Thanks for listening.
Oh, okay. All right, sorry. Thanks, everybody, for listening. I hope that you have a lovely time with your life moving forward for the following week, and I hope to see you soon. Goodbye.